So I just finished reading a book called The Courage to Be Disliked. And so I want to talk about it for a couple of reasons. One, in my YouTube journey, this is one of the issues. Um, and two, it brought me back to a memory that I haven't had for a long time that I think partially explains the way I approach the work that I do. So enough of a preamble. This is not me saying read the book. The book made me think a lot, and if you like books that make you think, read the book. The content, a lot of different ideas, a lot of different approaches. Yeah, different. But what was great about it was it brought me back to a memory that I hadn't thought about in a very long time. And it's from my childhood. I was in elementary school, I'm sure, very young. Um, I went to school. Everything was fine. I went to school the next day, and no one would talk to me. No one would play with me, and no one would eat lunch with me. And I really didn't know what to do with that. And I went to school the next day, and it seemed like the same thing was going on. Now, keep in mind, this is probably kiddie years. So, it may have felt like a long time, and maybe it wasn't a long time. I just remember, no one would talk to me, and any effort that I made was for naught until this girl came up to me and she said, is it true that Black people can never get clean because when they wash, they don't get white? And I mean, I was young and, of course, the only Black person in the class. And I grew up, for context, I grew up in the 80s in Tucson, Arizona. I honestly didn't know that many Black people, and I didn't really know the answer. Um, and I was perplexed. And she said, well, that's why no one will play with you or eat with you because everyone says that you're dirty. And so that evening, I went and asked my dad about it. And I'm, you know, emotional thinking about it because it's the week of Father's Day and my father's passed on. We had a very complex relationship. And to remember this is really interesting. I remember him being very gentle about it. He didn't fly off the handle. He just said, I asked him, the question, and he just said, well, who said that to you? Where did you learn that? And I said, someone at school said that. And I said, and he said, okay, well, you know about dishes. You know how we have blue dishes and yellow dishes and pink dishes and lots of different colored dishes. Some of them are white, but we have other dishes. He said, to get them clean, we use soap and water and the hot water and the sponge, and we scrub them, and that's how they get clean. The blue cup gets clean, the yellow cup gets clean, the white cup gets clean. All the dishes get clean. It's not about the color. It's about what it takes to get clean. It's the hot water, it's the suds. And he's like, do you understand? And I just remember being like, yeah, I totally get that. That totally makes sense. And just felt so ready to go back and just like explain, and his grace in that space of just not making it a big deal. At least from my vantage point, my guess is someone was at my teacher's door pretty immediately after that situation. I don't know. I was a kid, but from my vantage point and my memory, it was like, oh, now I'm armed with some information. And so I took this to the girl who came up to me and I said, you know how you wash dishes and there can be lots of different colored dishes and like you get them clean by like scrubbing them and she's like, oh yeah, yeah, I totally know that. And she was like, oh, I get it. Like I don't, whatever that guy said, that's. And we became fast friends after that. We were friends for a while, and complete with later putting on our own production of Annie, which did include a conversation about whether Annie could be black. And we decided it was our production. I think someone told us it was okay. I think we asked someone, and they were like, yeah, it's your production. So we ended up having two Annies, and one was black and one was white. And we rewrote some of the, anyway, um, it was the 80s. We didn't have internet. We had playtime. Um, but remembering that really helped me understand two things. One, he talks about the courage to be disliked, like when people are throwing stones at you, what it takes to understand and deal with scenarios like that. And for me, that's not new. Like my life, I've been usually the one, the only, a few weird, different, funny hair, whatever people say. It's usually been said, people throwing rocks at me, not a new, be meeting that's like not a new scenario. Not my favorite, but not new. But in the context of this book and remembering it, that scenario, the girl who came up to me had to have courage. She had to have the courage of a lion to go against everyone in the class and pursue truth and ask questions and like try to get to the bottom of it. And I don't know if she did that, out of empathy or curiosity. And I don't think it even matters as much as the fact that she had enough courage to actually seek the truth. Um, and so the more I thought about it, and the more I thought about like my dad's response to something that could have, you know, destroy me in some way. Like in the book, it talks a lot about how when people are throwing rocks at you, are you collecting them and putting them in your pocket? Are they weighing you down? Are they, that's not a metaphor from the book. That's just my interpretation. Um, or, what do you do with this vitriol and this hatred that's coming at you? Um, and my father really being really gracious in that moment. And for context, my dad was a social studies teacher, a government teacher, and really believed in the promise of America at the same time being super cynical about it as a Black man who grew up in Detroit during the riots. I was like a walking paradox. Like my relationship was exceedingly complex. His understanding and relationship, I think, with the world was really complex. Um, but him taking the time to not perpetuate the hate and say, look, the person just made a mistake. They don't understand this way. They don't know how it works. And that's okay, because sometimes you don't know things. Um, I so appreciate that. I so appreciate that. And I think in the work that I do and the approach I take, I think I try to remember that information and knowledge is all it's powerful, but the way it's delivered, the way it's conveyed, how it's used is also so much, so important to what someone takes away in an exchange. And so as I start my YouTube channel and I have my feelings about it, um, I am concerned about the idea of being disliked or trolls or, stones being thrown at me. I think not because it hasn't happened before, it's happened to me a lot throughout, and a part of that is my choice of which rooms I decide to be in. Um, but I think for me, we live in a time where it feels like not as many people are displaying the courage that my potential friend showed, which is I think I need to learn more about this situation because I see something, it's not feeling right, it doesn't look right. I think I need to find out more. And her having the courage to do that. Um, that's a Mother Teresa move happening in elementary school. And I feel like it happens a lot, or it can. Um, so yeah, that's this video. I'm still new at this. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end there.